It's been 32 years. For 32 years, I've carried this story like a stone in my gut, heavy and cold. Every time I thought about telling someone, the words would just die in my throat. I guess fear is a powerful silencer. But I'm old now, and the weight is getting to be too much. I need to get it out before it's too late, before I take it with me. So, if you're listening, thank you. It means more than you know. This all happened back when I was a teenager, just 17. My best friend was Leo. We were inseparable, the kind of friends who did everything together. Our town was small, the kind where everybody knows everybody, and the biggest excitement was the annual county fair. We spent our summers exploring the woods behind my house, building forts, and dreaming about getting out. Leo was the adventurous one, always pushing the boundaries, always looking for the next thrill. One night, a hot, sticky evening in August, Leo showed up at my window. He had this wild look in his eyes, a mix of excitement and something else I couldn't quite place. He told me he'd found something incredible, something nobody knew about. An old, abandoned house deep in the woods, far off any of the marked trails. He said we had to go, right then and there. I was hesitant, but Leo could be very persuasive. He made it sound like the adventure of a lifetime. So, I snuck out. We walked for what felt like miles deeper into the woods than I'd ever been before. The air grew still and heavy, and the sounds of the town faded away completely. Finally, we saw it. A dark shape against the moonless sky. The house was a wreck, boards missing, windows shattered, a place that time had forgotten. It looked wrong. There was a strange silence around it, like even the crickets were afraid to make a sound. Leo, of course, was thrilled. He pulled a flashlight from his backpack and grinned at me. This was it, the ultimate dare. I felt a knot of dread tighten in my stomach. Something about that place felt hostile, unwelcoming. I told Leo maybe we should come back in the morning, but he just laughed it off. He called me a coward in that half-joking way he had, and said he was going in with or without me. And I couldn't let him go in alone. We pushed open the front door, which groaned in protest. The air inside was thick with the smell of dust and decay, but there was another scent underneath it, something metallic and sweet. It made my nose wrinkle. Leo's flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing furniture draped in white cloths, like ghosts frozen in time. The floorboards creaked under our feet with every step we took, each sound echoing in the oppressive silence of the house. We explored the ground floor first. A living room with a huge, cold fireplace. A kitchen with jars of something dark and unidentifiable still on the shelves. It was all so perfectly preserved, yet utterly abandoned. Leo was fascinated, touching everything, opening drawers. I just wanted to leave. I kept looking over my shoulder, feeling like we were being watched, like we had intruded on something private and sacred. Then Leo found the stairs leading down to the basement. They were steep and narrow, disappearing into pitch blackness. That's when my unease turned into real fear. I begged him not to go down there. The metallic smell was stronger coming from the stairway, and a cold draft seemed to be rising from the depths. But Leo just shined his light down the stairs and said, "This is where the real secrets are." He was already halfway down before I could say another word. I followed him, my heart pounding against my ribs. I had to. The basement was small and damp, with stone walls that seemed to weep. In the center of the room, there was a single wooden chair. And in the corner, a large, old-fashioned freezer, the kind with a heavy lid and a latch. It was humming softly, which was impossible. The power to this house had been cut off for decades. Leo went straight for it. He fiddled with the latch, which was stiff with rust. I told him to stop, my voice barely a whisper. This was wrong. We shouldn't be here. The low hum of the freezer was getting louder, vibrating through the stone floor. Leo finally managed to pry the latch open. He looked at me, his eyes wide with anticipation in the flashlight's glow, and then he started to lift the heavy lid. The smell that hit us was overwhelming. It was the metallic, sweet scent, but 100 times stronger. I gagged, stumbling backward. Leo, however, leaned in, peering into the freezer. For a moment, he was completely still. Then, he let out a sound I will never forget. It wasn't a scream, more like a strangled gasp, a sound of pure, unadulterated horror. He slammed the lid shut, his face as white as a sheet. He turned to me, his whole body trembling. He couldn't speak, just pointed a shaking finger at the freezer. He grabbed my arm, his grip like iron, and started pulling me toward the stairs. "We have to go," he managed to choke out. "We have to go now." We scrambled up the basement stairs, falling over each other in our panic, and ran. We didn't stop running until we were back in the familiar woods behind my house. We collapsed on the ground, gasping for air. Leo was crying, silent tears streaming down his face. I never saw what was in that freezer. I didn't want to. Leo's reaction told me everything I needed to know. He made me promise, right then and there, that we would never speak of this to anyone. Ever. He said if we told, something terrible would happen. I was terrified, so I promised. It was a promise I would keep for 32 years. The next day, Leo was different. The spark in his eyes was gone, replaced by a permanent shadow. He stopped being adventurous. He became quiet, withdrawn. He jumped at loud noises and had terrible nightmares. Our friendship wasn't the same. The secret was a wall between us. We couldn't look at each other without being reminded of that night, of the house, of the freezer. We drifted apart within a few months. I moved away for college a year later and didn't look back. I tried to forget, to bury the memory of that night deep down. I built a new life, got a job, got married, but it was always there, a dark stain on my conscience. Every time I saw a news report about a missing person, my stomach would clench. What did we leave in that basement? Who did we leave? My silence felt like a betrayal. A few years ago, I heard that Leo had passed away. He'd never left our hometown. The news hit me harder than I expected. With him gone, I was the only one left who knew. The only one holding on to this terrible secret. The weight of it became almost unbearable. His death made me realize that I couldn't carry it forever. The promise I made to a terrified 17-year-old boy shouldn't bind a 60-year-old man. And that's why I'm telling this story now. It's not for forgiveness. I don't think I deserve that. It's because the silence has been eating me alive. I think what I saw that night wasn't just a house. I think it was a tomb. And by staying silent, I became its keeper. I let fear rule my life, let it poison a friendship, and let a terrible wrong go unaddressed. I was a coward. I still don't know what was in that freezer. My mind has filled in the blanks 1,000 times over the years, each scenario more horrific than the last. But the not knowing is its own kind of torture. Leo saw, and it broke him. It changed the entire course of his life. My greatest regret is that I let my fear stop me from helping him, from trying to get him to talk about it, from facing it with him. So, what happens now? I don't know. Maybe nothing. The house is probably gone by now, swallowed by the woods. Any evidence is long gone. But I've said it. I've broken the silence. I've told you what happened to 2 teenage boys one summer night, how a single moment of terror reshaped our lives, and how a promise kept in fear can be its own kind of prison. This confession isn't an ending. It's just me, finally opening the door to a room I've kept locked for over 3 decades. It's me, finally letting a little bit of light in. I don't know what I expect to find, but for the first time in a very long time, I feel like I can breathe again. Thank you for listening. It truly means everything.